Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. From this video series, we are going to learn how to develop the RESTful APIs and how to implement Redis Cache in that API and how that API is beneficial for us after implementing the Redis Cache. So before we start implementing the APIs and Redis Cache into it, so we will first learn something about the Redis Cache. But I'm not very fond of theories, but still we need to go through some of the topics in order to understand the Redis Cache. Okay, so if you don't know how to write the RESTful APIs, then you can check out the video link in the description for the Spring Boot and MySQL CRUD operation. So you can go through it to be more familiar with the Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so let me just discuss what is the agenda for the today video. So first thing what we will learn in today's video is what is Redis and Redis advantages, how Redis actually enhance our APIs, how it make it faster, because in the today's world everything is about speed. So if I want to fetch a data, it should be faster. Next thing, how APIs work without Redis. After that we will learn how APIs work with Redis, and Redis is a database we can use, and it's a memory database and we can use it for multiple purpose. We are going to use it as a cache in this series. Next thing, we are going to develop Spring Boot REST APIs. After that, we are going to implement Redis Cache for that APIs. And last but not the least, implementing different time to live for each cache. Suppose in my application, I have 3 caches, naming cache 1, cache 2 and cache 3. So by default, Spring provide one application property that is something time to leave. And if I set that property, suppose for the 15 minutes, then in 15 minutes, my all 3 cache will be expired. So we are going to override the default method, default functionality, and we are going to define different time to leave for each cache. Suppose cache 1 will expire in 10 minutes and cache 2 will expire in 5 minutes and cache 3 will expire in 15 minutes, like that. Okay, so we are going to move with the what is Redis. Okay, so Redis is an open source. Open source itself explain that open source means that you are free to use. You can use it in your application without paying any charges, and you can also modify it as the source code is already available. It is an advanced key value stored and an APT solution for building high performance scalable web applications. Suppose if there are data which is not consistently changing, then you can put that data in a cache and you can put a value of 15 minutes like time to leave. In 15 minutes, every time there will be a DB hit and it will automatically update the cache as well. Redis has 3 main speciality that sets it apart. Redis holds its database entirely in the memory. Here you can mark this word, entirely in the memory. Memory is faster as compared to the hard drive or some other memories. Okay, using the disk only for persistence. Second point is Redis has a relatively rich set of data types when compared to many key value data stored. Like you can put the map, you can put the list into it. Redis can replicate data to any number of slaves. These are the features of the Redis and what is Redis. Okay, so you can visit its official site if you want to learn more about it. So I'm just giving an overview. So next thing, Redis Advantage. It's explicitly fast because it's storing the data in the memory. Supports rich data types. Redis natively supports most of the data types that developers already know, such as list, set, sorted set, hashes, map, etc. Operations are atomic. All Redis operations are atomic, which ensures that if 2 clients concurrently access, Redis server will receive the updated value. Multi-utility tools. Redis is a multi-utility tools and can be used as a number of use cases such as caching, messaging queue, any sort lived data in your application, such as web application sessions, web pages, hit counts, etc. As I have told you, we can use it in a multi-purpose. So we are going to use it for caching. Okay, you can use is as per your requirement. Wherever it fits, you can use it. It's an open source. Okay, so next thing we are going to see what will happen when we don't use the Redis cache. So suppose here we have one user, and this is our application which is running on a server or on your local system. Anywhere this application is running. So this is a database. So first what will happen? User will request to the server, raise a request. So here you can see this. First suppose I have clicked on one button with the data of get some value. So it will go to my application. That application will see, accept that request, and it will send that request to the, or suppose it will fire a query on the database. After that it will process something and it will generate some value and it will return it to the application. Then application will return it to the user. Suppose here it took 3 seconds, or at the step 3, between the 2 and step 3, from accepting request to process it and returning the value, took 10 seconds. Suppose every call is taking 10 seconds, then how much user will have a bad experience. Okay, so this is how it processes without Redis Cache. This every time for the same data you have to hit the DB, and then it will process and it will return the data. Okay, so this is how it works. And suppose there are concurrently a lakhs of users hitting the same APIs, then it may happen that databases get logged, or there is no pool available to access that data. Okay, so how this Redis come into the picture? So let's see how it works. So here we have the Redis Cache now. So in this image, how it will work? So first thing, user will hit the request to our application, then it will go and check the Redis Cache first, that if the data corresponding to that request is available in the Redis Cache. So it will return no. If there is no data available, then it will hit the database. After that, the database will process and it will return some value for the first time. And after that, it will put that value in the Redis Cache. Then it will come back to the application, and then that data will be returned to the user. Okay, so first, suppose I am a user and I hit the request, and it will go and check in the Redis Cache, but in the Redis Cache no data is available. Then it will hit the database, will return the value, and that value will be being put into the Redis Cache, and that cache will be returned the data to the application, and that data is now finally returning to the user. So you must be worried that this is a hectic work, right? So it may take 10 point some seconds, because after processing we are going to put the data into the cache, and then cache is returning the data, and finally it's returning to the user. But this is not the case. First time, whenever you hit the API, it will going to interact with the database. From the second time, what will happen is it will generate a request. This is step 1. Here it will check that cache is available into this Redis Cache, and as Redis Cache is in memory database, so it will quickly find it and return the value to the application, and after that, that value is returned to the user within milliseconds. This is how it works. So if that Redis Cache is expired, suppose that Redis Cache, we have set the time to leave for 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes I am having the API hit, then it will follow the first process. It will fetch from the database, return it, and then it will return to the application. This is how it works. Okay, so we are going to, if you don't know about how to write the RESTful APIs and you don't know how to implement the caches, so don't worry about it. We are going to show you from the scratch, from downloading the Spring Boot application from the spring.io, and after step by step to implement this Redis Cache, and we are going to see the difference by hitting those APIs from the Postman. So don't worry about it. So just stay tuned. In this video, we are going to just wrap it over here. From the next video onwards, we are going to start implementing this stuff. So I hope you understand the point, and please go through some of the topics of the Redis Cache so that you have a clear understanding. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, and follow us on Instagram.